I almost didn't record this. I sat down 3 times, closed the laptop, and here I am. Because I've been teaching parents how to raise scholars. And this summer, my daughter taught me what I still had to learn. I'm recording this the day after one of the hardest days I had as a parent. Not because of anything catastrophic happened, because my daughter is leaving for college. And I'm learning in real time what it means to hold love and limits in the same hand. Let me tell you what I'm talking about. It all started probably about 4 years ago. I remember she was in a program. We lived out in Maryland. She was in a summer acting program, and I had to drive her back and forth to DC. And I remember being in the car and coming down 50, and I just felt this sense of like not being appreciated. I'm paying for the programs. I'm taking her back and forth most of the time. And what I expected was this, Mommy, I appreciate you. Thank you so much. And I wasn't getting that. And so I told her, I said, do you know how much I sacrifice between running a business and taking care of 2 kids and doing all of the things for them, making sure that they have everything that they need? And I was like, do you just understand how much I sacrifice for you? And that hit her really hard. I didn't know it until later, but what she felt was that she felt like she was a burden. And that changed everything because from that moment on, she started to pull and push away from me. It was like this invisible wall was up. And I wouldn't just say invisible because sometimes it was actually a physical wall. Like she would close the door, didn't want to talk. I tried to give her space. I tried to live these principles that I teach you. I was still figuring it out. I'm still figuring it out. But it was every time I said something to her, she would get frustrated. It was like I was annoying her. If I did something nice, it would last for a second, or that would even get on her nerves. If I was strict, that would get on her nerves. And I was trying to balance like how to figure this all out. And it was like nothing that I was doing was working. And I kind of chalked it up to she's a teenager, she's in high school, she's got her own life that she's navigating, she's got her own stuff that she's also navigating as well. And that wall just built and built and built. There were times she didn't even want to hug anymore, embrace. And yesterday was like the culmination of all of it because here we are. I protected this weekend. I made sure that my calendar was clear. I was very intentional about going into this weekend and this week of preparing her for school and making sure we get all of the things. And she really didn't want me to be a part of it. But I was like, all right, this weekend's going to be different. I'm going to make sure that I can be there to help her pack, to get everything ready. And I know there's a lot that's weighing on her as well. And so it just came to a head when she was packing, getting ready, put her stuff in the car. And something I had forgot. I thought she didn't have an ID and she did. And so that brought up the whole passport situation. And she was like, I want my passport. And I was like, no, you'll get your passport just like your brother when you turn 19. And here I am. We're going back and forth the weekend before she leaves, the weekend that I was trying to protect. And in my mind, I wanted it to look a certain way. And we're going back and forth with this tension. And I'm sure there's all of these things. I'm empty nesting. She's going off to a new city and she's losing her friends that are going off to different places. And she's behind the door and she's like, I don't need you. And that hit for me. I had all of the emotions flustered and I'm sure, and I 100% know that there's other people that feel this way because I got off the phone. I had to talk to my girlfriend and one of my girlfriends whose daughter who's sending her off to school and same thing. And so I'm like, okay, I'm not the only one going through this. And that's the reason why I decided to talk about this because I know there's another mom out there or there's a parent out there that is empty nesting or they're launching their child into college and there's all these emotions on both sides. And here I am, my biggest fear. She said it. I don't need you anymore. And that hit me so hard. It was like a sucker punch. And I had to listen to my own advice, regulation over rigor. You had to breathe through it, step away, step back, think through what was real. And then I realized she's right. She doesn't need me like she needed me when she was 2. She doesn't need me like she needed me when she was 8. Our relationship is changing, the dynamic is changing, but she's always going to need me. And that's what I ended up telling her. I was like, you're going to always need me, even if it's just for emotional support, even if it's just to know I'm that safe space that she can land on when things get rough, that I can be that listening ear when she's ready to come back around to talk. But in the moment, I felt like a hypocrite. I said to myself, here I am teaching parents about how to parent their kids, and I'm failing at it right now. And that was tough for me. And then I had to remember, I say it at the end of most of these segments. You don't have to be a perfect parent. You just have to be a present one. So even with everything that was going on, all of the emotions, all of the feelings, I had to choose, which is another thing that I figured out with her when I said sacrifice. It wasn't a sacrifice that I did all those things. And I had to tell it to her so she wouldn't feel like a burden. I told her it was a choice. I choose you. I choose to do these things for you because I want the best for you. I want you to be able to have your dreams come true. So that feeling of not being a perfect parent, I knew that doesn't exist. I am perfectly imperfect. And I tell them that all the time. And that's why this podcast exists. That's why I'm doing this bonus episode, because I know there is a parent out there. There's another mom who is feeling the same way. There's another mom who is crying because she feels like their children don't need her anymore, but they're always going to need you. It just may look a little differently. So as I was trying to get myself together, one of the things that I use for regulation and the other piece when I was talking about autonomy over assistance, is still the best thing. The fact that my baby could get her stuff together on her own and do the things that I've always said that I want. If something was to happen to me, I want to make sure that they could take care of themselves. She's shown me that, and she's still teaching me.
I'm going to be honest about something that I think a lot of parents feel, but no one says out loud. I've seen the send offs, the kids who cling, who cry, who don't want to let go. The parents with their arms full and their faces full, and the whole moment looking exactly what you imagined it would look like. And I had to sit with the fact that my version looks different. That doesn't mean something went wrong. It means she's ready, even if I'm still catching up. And I had to decide that different is not the same as broken.
But I began to journal last night and I said, what I'm going to do is I'm going to write her a letter, because sometimes words on paper just land a little bit different than a text message or a voice memo. And hopefully, because I still have letters from my father and his wisdom, hopefully this one will land for her. Beans. I've been sitting with so many words and none of them feel big enough for this moment. I want you to know that watching you grow into the woman you are has been the greatest honor of my life, not a sacrifice, a privilege, a choice I would make 1,000 times over. I know things between us haven't always been easy. I know I haven't been perfect, and I never will. And I'm still learning too. But everything I have done has come from a place of love, so deep that I don't have the words for it. You are not a burden. You never were. You are the reason I fight, the reason why I get up every morning, the reason I keep going even when it's hard. DePaul chose you because you are exceptional. Chicago is about to meet someone remarkable, and I already know what they're going to find. I will always be your safe place, no matter what has been said, no matter what has happened between us. My door, my heart, my arms are always open to you. Go be great. The world has been waiting for you. I love you beyond measure, beyond words, beyond anything I could write on this paper. All of my love, always, Mommy. To the parent out there that thinks they're failing, Remember, you don't have to be a perfect parent. You just have to be a present one. Thank you for listening to Raising Scholars. I hope this resonates with someone who really needed to hear it. I'll see you in the next episode.